Hey guys, it's Sid with SVTPerformance.com, and that is the 2024 Dark Horse Mustang. I've got a full features inspection and driving review video for you. We're going to get things started off by taking a look at the interior, but just for a moment I wanted to show you where we are today. We are at Lakeview Motor Speedway, one of our local tracks to us here in South Carolina. Beautiful track. I love a fantastic dirt oval. Have some great racing here. Unfortunately, it's too hot in the south right now. We don't have enough water to water the track, so no racing on this Saturday night, but why not just bring the Dark Horse out and grab a few photos. That's what we've done today. And now I just want to show you guys the interior and get your thoughts on what you think of the S650 Dark Horse. This car is beautiful, but I have never seen a new Mustang more polarizing than this one. This car got so much hate when it first came out, and all I can say is if you get behind the wheel, all that melts away. So I'm going to address all of it right now. Like, the people criticize it. They don't like the looks. They say it looks like a Camaro. Well, I'm here to tell you, the reason you think it looks like a Camaro is because a 5th gen Camaro looks like a Mustang. There, you can have that. The looks, I think the car looks great. At first, I was not sold on this blacked out portion here. You can see it's doing this little light thing again. The headlights, though, are awesome. I like those. They look really nice. I was not super sold on this, but the more I look at it, the more I like it. That's it's kind of the moral of how new car models work for me. I tend to like the older ones better until the new ones like warm up, and I guess I've spent enough time with this one, I really do like it. The only thing I could say is I think I like it even more with the color you can't get, which is silver. I think this car would look fantastic in iconic silver. This, of course, has the dual intake Coyote engine in it, 500 horsepower. It runs great, it sounds great. This probably has one of the best sounding factory exhausts I've seen or heard on any Mustang. The rear end, you can see it's doing this little light thing again, and getting some definite like F-22 Raptor vibes off of that. I've also brought it to hang out with other Mustangs. The best thing on this car, by far, at least to me, and you would never know it if you're just looking at it, are these Pirelli tires. These are miracle worker tires. I mean, when we get out on the road, I'll talk about it a little bit more. That's my absolute favorite thing. Interior wise, this one's the Vapor Blue, which I think is a really good, very subtle color. Like, it's got metallic in it, but at certain lights, certain angles, you would never see it. But like right now, you can see it's popping and it looks great. Interior wise, this has the blue interior, and it's very subtle. I think it looks really good. I like the blue stitching. I'm going to sort of contradict myself on something that you guys have been on the channel for a while. You've heard me say I don't like when Ford or just manufacturers in general take a material and try to make it look like something else. Good example is taking plastic and stamping it to make it look like leather. I hate that. I would rather you do something creative and make it its own thing. Here we've got sort of a false carbon fiber look on this plastic, and honestly, I like the way it looks. It's sort of like a carbon weave or something, like a weave pattern, but it borders on sort of a milled look, and I think it looks good. Do I wish it was actual carbon fiber? Yes, I do, but I mean, if you see like how big this piece is and things like that, it couldn't really be done. But I don't find that horribly offensive. I think that actually looks good. It would be nice if this was carbon on this, or if they had a carbon fiber package. Cool. The steering wheel is really cool. I never noticed that it had this flat spot on the bottom until I was driving it and went all the way around. I was like, oh, it has that. That's nice. Gives you a little extra leg room down here. And I like the thumb bumps on the wheel, and I especially like this new material. Instead of it just being like a Alcantara or something like that we've seen in GT350s and stuff like that in the past, it's almost like a rubberized material. I'm not sure what you would call this, some kind of vinyl, I'm assuming, but I really like that material. I think it'll wear a lot better than the fake suede. The dash is sort of controversial, but the more time I spend in it, the more I like it. And to me, I know this is going to sound nearly insane, but the dash on this thing gives me Fox body vibes. That's, I mean, no, the gigantic glass dash definitely doesn't say Fox body, but sort of and you get the Fox body gauges, which is the ones I typically use in it, but this squared off part here, the square AC ducts, things like that, AC vents, that just, it feels like a Fox body, and I like that. I'm glad to see Ford sort of embracing that. The wing looks pretty cool. The exhaust, I like that. It's a little on the expensive side, but once you get in this thing and take it out for a drive, you're going to start seeing why this car is so good. So I think that's what we should do. Just go out, take a ride, and then let me give you some more of my thoughts on it that way. So where this car really shines is out on the road. So let's go take a little road trip out through the country. So there's that great sounding exhaust. We're not even in like sport mode or anything yet. Let's get it in the sport mode. I think that's pretty good there. You can just hear the thing just thumping. So that's my takeaway of this car. If you are just looking at it from the outside and you have not got behind the wheel, you truly can't appreciate how good this package really is. I know a lot of people are hung up on the Dark Horse name, things like that. Honestly, that doesn't mean anything to me, really. This has 99% of the performance of a GT350. I mean, it is right there, and in certain things, I think it's actually better. The braking, and a lot of it's these tires. I can't say how good these Pirellis are that are on this car. If I had any other S550 Mustang with a decent suspension setup, I would be going out and buying a set of these tires. They are that good. We're in horse country now, so it's pretty awesome to take your Mustang out for a ride through that. But they are really that good, and no matter how big your brakes are or how great the clamping force is, it's all dependent on how much traction your tires can generate, and these can generate some traction. The closest thing I can compare it to is being in a Boss 302S, not LS, an S, the one you would order from the Ford Racing catalog. Being in one of those with a good set of heated up Hoosiers on the track. That's what this car feels like, except it has all the creature comforts you could possibly want in a new Mustang. It is air conditioned seats, full navigation, Apple CarPlay, all that fun stuff. You've got all that on board, and then just 500 horsepower, endless traction, endless braking. It is really good. The engineers really put together a very impressive package. And you guys have been watching this channel for a while know that my favorite S550 or modern Mustang to drive was a Mach 1, and this is a step above that. So if you're down with the styling and you want the handling and performance, this is a very, very tough package to beat. Now, we're out spraying the crops today. Farmers having it rough this year. It's been really dry, so this tobacco that we're passing, it should be maybe 1.5 feet higher, and it'll be flowered out like it is now. It's going to be a rough season. Need some rain. Luckily, we don't have any rain today, because as much as I love these tires, I would not want to be driving them in the rain, at least at speed. I mean, technically you could do it, but it's like running around with drag radials back in the day. You just maybe want to avoid that and consider this a fair weather car. That being said, I am extremely saddened that I do not have any roads that I can really stretch this thing's legs on, because this is made for twisties, and these little South Carolina country roads, they don't have it. Like, if I could take this thing to southern West Virginia, eastern Kentucky, somewhere like that, where you've got some mountains and some turns, I mean, I would be at the dealership plopping down my cash to buy this car if I lived in that kind of area where you could actually get out and stretch this thing's legs and make it just throw through a turn and just stick and stick and stick. It's really good. Power-wise, 500 horsepower is nothing to sneeze at, but I'm coming from a world where the last S550 I had was a Whipple Gen 2 Coyote, and you know, full Cook's exhaust, all that kind of stuff. This doesn't have that kind of power, and it's just not, there's not a thing in the world wrong with it. It sounds really good. It does not pull nearly as hard as a GT350. That you really do miss that extra 26 horsepower. That's really good. Speaking of other things, it's really good. The shifter on this. This has the best factory shifter I have ever felt in any Mustang. This transmission is the same as G3 and Mach 1. I don't know what Ford did to the shifter, but it's made a difference. Really good. It's notchy in just the right way. It does still have some vagueness in it. I mean, this is not an MGW by any stretch of the imagination, but it's not so horrendous that the first thing you want to do is go out and buy a new shifter. It's very livable, so if you're concerned about that, you can just put those concerns aside. It's a good shifter for a factory one, especially for any Mustang. I mean, I had a S550 with a MT82 2015 model, and I could not wait to get that thing out of there soon enough. So this one you could live with for a time being, then go buy an MGW, because nothing beats that bolt action rifle like precision those things have. Speaking of precision, the steering on this thing is nuts. It is like drive-by telepathy. You just think the direction you want to go in and barely move the wheel, and this thing just goes. Speaking of goes, those big tires, it's got 305s on the front, 315s on the back, and they very much do like to rut wander on these South Carolina sort of rutted roads. You know, it gets really hot down here in the summer, and the roads sort of divot out, and the car wants to track with it. I've had big fat tire vehicles for 30 years. I know what that's like, so I'm used to that kind of thing. It doesn't bother me, but it's something that for the uninitiated you're going to have to get used to. Speaking of getting used to, I can definitely get used to these air-conditioned seats. I would have thought I would have missed the, you know, Recaros or something like that. No, not anymore. Not in July in South Carolina. I want as much air conditioning as I can possibly get, and it works really well in this car. I'm just hooked on that sound. It is so good. And the car overall, it is just a well put together package. Anybody who's an S650 detractor, I suggest you get behind the wheel and drive one. It's really good. I'm impressed. I had a lot of the same complaints as most people. Drove one. Nearly all of them are gone. The one that still exists is you can't tune it, and yes, that sucks, but don't expect that to last forever, because I bought my Bronco Raptor knowing that the ECU was encrypted, and guess what? It is now tuned with HP tuners. So 5-star tuning and a few other tuners have broken that encryption and figured out how to do it, and it's going to happen on this. It'll happen with everything. Man builds that programming, and man can break that programming. It just takes time. So you are going to have that pain of an early adopter. If you've had one of these for like a year, I'm sure you are itching to get a tune on it. That being said, the factory calibration is really good on this car. Throttle tip in is really good. You got the 2 throttles to tip in, but it's really good. Sure, it could be tightened up in a few spots, and I'm sure there's a few horses out there somewhere to be found. but it's not a deal breaker, I think, at this point, knowing that at some point it's going to come. So I think that is sort of my takeaway on this thing. I think it's really impressive. I enjoy driving it. I wish I had more appropriate places to take it. I mean, you'll see from some of the photos we have. I took the thing to a dirt track because I thought it would look cool against the color, and I was right. The red mixes well with the vapor blue on this thing. But I mean, it's just, this thing needs to be on a twisty road. Power wise, yeah, you can just do little blasts all you want to. That's fun, but that's not really what this car is meant for. It is meant to twist and turn, and Ford knocked it out of the park on that. The spring rates are great. It's not harsh, but it is firm. It's exactly what I would want from a suspension on a Mustang. That's the only real downside I see to this thing for me, is you're not left with a ton of stuff to do. I don't have to touch the brakes. I don't have to touch the suspension. The tires are perfect. It has good looking wheels. If I had tuning, that's about the only place I would mess with it. The exhaust, I have a hard time saying this, but I think the exhaust is essentially perfect. You can quieten it down when you want. When you want it rowdy, you can put it into rowdy mode. That's great. That's my only real complaint is, like, what do I do with this? I hate leaving my stuff stock. I want to play with my toys, and this one is pretty damn perfect right out of the box. Yeah, I wouldn't mind bolting on a Whipple and having 800 to the wheels and riding around that way. That's about the extent of what I would want to do. Luckily, the Ford Racing has those kits out now. You can buy that, have it installed by your dealer, keep a warranty, you know, if that's what you want, or you can get the party mode version and have a really good time. So that would be my suggestion. Buy one of these, put a Whipple on it, and lay into some curves. I think you will enjoy it. I think that's going to just about do it for me, though. I mean, how much can I tell you? Like, I like this car. I just wish that Ford would offer it in iconic silver. If they do that, I might have to put one of these in my garage. All right, it's time for final thoughts on the Dark Horse Mustang. I've been driving this thing for about a week or so, and I made myself a little cheat sheet here. So first thing I want to do is address what I hear as complaints on the internet about this car. The first one is some people complain about the styling. I get that, but to me, styling is subjective. Not everybody likes everything. Maybe this car is just not for you. That's fine. I sort of felt that way in the beginning. Like I've said before in this video, I wasn't crazy about these highlights, but on this color, I think it looks pretty damn good. I think it would look really good in iconic silver. I wish Ford made the Dark Horse in that color. Also, some people don't like the glass dash in it. I get that too, but after driving the thing for a while, I actually like it. The one thing I don't like about this, and this is my complaint on every new vehicle that does this, is no physical buttons for your AC controls and things like that. I really don't like that because I feel it's distracting. But as far as the integration and everything, you see we've got the Fox body cluster up here. I like it. It looks good. It's easily readable, configurable. I don't think that's that bad. Some people say, oh, it's just the same old S550 we've had for 10 years. We had the Fox body from 79 to 93. You know, it's nothing for a Mustang platform to last a while, and honestly, I think that's a good thing because that means there's a ton of aftermarket suspension parts, wheels, tires, things like that that already work for this car. So I don't necessarily consider that a downside. Plus, as good as this car is, how much better are we going to get with a new platform? Some people say it's heavy. That's true. It is a heavy car, but you do not feel it. This car feels no different than any other performance S550 that I've driven as far as weight. It doesn't come off as a heavy car. So that complaint, I think if you get behind the wheel, you won't have that anymore. No tuning. Yeah, that one is a problem, but like I've mentioned, it's coming. We're going to be able to fully custom tune this thing before too terribly long. I've been talking to a lot of guys in the industry. It's going to happen, so don't need to worry about that. Some people say, well, it's not a Shelby. I grew up No, so this is not to discount anything that Carroll Shelby did through history, racing, winning Le Mans, all that. Fantastic. I didn't grow up with Shelby as a personal hero of mine because at the time I came on board, he was working on like Dodge Colts and things like that. So to me, I was always a Coletti guy. I like SVT, so if this thing, they slapped a Cobra on this, this would be a fantastic spiritual successor to like the 9901 Cobras. That's sort of a very modernized update of that car, is what I see this as. But, you know, some people complain about that it's a new performance model. I don't have a problem with it. Ford wants to try some new things, new styling, things like that, different logo. Cool, no problem there. To me, the car's more about the substance than the name on it. Some people say it's expensive, yet the interior is sort of cheapish. They just stuck a iPad on the dash. I think the interior looks really good. I think they could have spent a little bit more money on this plastic material. Again, it looks good, but it would be cool if this was actual carbon fiber. You do have the titanium shift knob to scald your hand in the South Carolina heat. I do like the vinyl on the dash, vinyl wrap on the console. The seats are very nice, air-conditioned seats. I like that. Soft touch materials on the doors. You know, that's all cool. I like it, especially like that dash layout. It reminds me of a Fox body. I know that's kind of weird to say, but I do like that. I think it's a step forward versus what we got in S197 and S550. So I think that's pretty good. The other thing, they say it's expensive. Yeah, it's expensive. What isn't expensive? Have you bought premium today? Because I just put gas in this thing at $4.40 a gallon. So everything's expensive. I don't consider that much of a complaint, especially for the level of performance you're getting here. Another one is this splitter is low. I've heard that complaint, and yeah, that's true, because you can tell this thing has been rented out to the press and they have beat the crap out of it. So that's just something to keep in mind. Adjust your driving style as appropriate. Now for me, the good on this, it's still very much a Mustang. It has that spirit of a Mustang. I love that. The cockpit feels like a Mustang. I like driving stuff that feels familiar to me, and this car does. So I think that's pretty good. The tires, brakes, that entire suspension handling package. I mean, just look at those 305 meets on the front. Huge Brembos all the way around. It just works. The suspension works. Everything works underneath this car. Spring rates are perfect. I mean, this thing is as dialed in as I feel I could build it and still remain comfortable driving the thing with the aftermarket. So to me, the suspension's done. You don't need to spend money on suspension, tires, brakes. Same with the exhaust. The exhaust to me sounds fantastic. It's sitting in sport mode right now, idling, because it's really hot in South Carolina, so I need that air conditioning when I get back in. Speaking of air conditioning, it's very comfortable to drive this car. And that's sort of the way I look at this thing. Yes, it could be a track beast, but to me, it's a super, super fun daily driver. You can throw the thing through curves. I wish I had more to deal with here in South Carolina. That's how I would use this car. Just like, you know, life is short. Can't be driving boring daily drivers. Get something fun to drive like that. The steering, like I mentioned, it is almost telepathic. It is crazy how good the steering is, and those tires handle every steering input. They do not lose grip. And look, just pulling off the road, like, they are sticky. They hold the dirt. But as soon as you get them cleaned off, oh my God, the grip is fantastic. The grippy tires allow those big brakes to work. This thing will outstop just about anything. And then under the hood, we've still got the good Coyote V8, the dual intake version and everything, 500 horsepower. It's good. It's everything that we've expected this car to become over the years. Still all the goodness without putting in, you know, the displacement on demand or EGR coolers or any of that crap. They're still be able to meet emissions and all that, and not add a bunch of life support systems to keep this thing on the road. So I think that's pretty much it. I have really enjoyed my time with this car. If you guys know of any complaints or anything that I missed, or any highlights that I missed, please let me know, because if I get another one of these things, I want to mention that kind of stuff. Just the amount of time I've spent with it, I would buy one of these if they'd make it in silver for me. That way it matches the Lightning and a few other things I have in the garage. But I hope you guys have enjoyed this little video. And if you have, please hit the subscribe button, like, comment, all that good stuff. If you have any questions or comments, links in the description below to SVTPerformance.com, where we've got our full review, photos, article, all that kind of stuff. It's on SVTP, links in the description below. If you want to message me, that's the place to do it. I will be sure to see it there. If you don't want to do that, you leave something in the comments and I will probably get to it at some point. But if you want to answer quickly, put it on SVTP. If you want to get some hats, merch, anything to keep us doing this kind of stuff, out driving around on a Saturday, that's over on SVTP as well. I got a link to our store. The store sucks, but it works. So I have that link into that in the description below too. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Appreciate you taking all the time to watch it. And I hope to see you back here on the SVT Performance channel in the very near future. For anyone wondering if we took the car around this track at speed, I'm guessing you have never been on a dirt track before, because this thing is rough. It would beat this car to death.